Hi, good evening. This is Dr. Venkatesh once again. Welcome to the fourth episode of Venkato Musing. In today's episode, we have Nadeem Jafri, the creator of Hearty Mart, a store in Juhapura, Ahmedabad. For your information, Juhapura is a friendly neighborhood in Ahmedabad's new west zone along the Sarkej Gandhinagar Highway. Returning to Hearty Mart, Nadeem Jafri established this as a convenience store in 2004 as the state was recovering from the worst affected riots, which left a permanent mark not only on the state but also on the hearts and minds of its residents. Beginning with Sabse Khas Ghar ke Paas as a catchphrase, which means the very best near your home. Later, Nadeem began hunting for local talent and began spreading his wings across the state of Gujarat by building his second store, albeit a franchisee model in Ilol, a village in Himmatnagar Taluka, again in Gujarat, Sabarkantha district, in 2007. Today, the company is speaking about faith, hope, and development. After that, in the next 10 years, Nadeem became unstoppable, collaborating with Wajir Ali Momin, owner of Ashish Enterprises in 2008, to form Hearty Mart Enterprises, which now operates over a dozen superstores, primarily in rural and semi-urban areas under the franchising model. So apart from Hearty Mart Enterprises, Nadeem has expanded his business to include Hearty Mart Supermarket, Hearty Mart Packaging, Hearty Mart Tea Packers, Hearty Mart Marketing and Logistics, Baker's Point, Floor Trading, Farm to Market, and Hospitality Services. Wow, what a great integration that you have been able to do. So Nadeem has been also highlighted in both national as well as international media. His case studies have been discussed in various entrepreneurial forums. It has been written also, and obviously he has been invited to talk about his achievements in numerous forums. So we welcome you, Nadeem, and would like to thank you for coming over here. With this, I leave the floor open to you. So I just want to understand how did you get into this? What is the venture? So I want you to take us through the venture in a nutshell.
Thank you, Dr. Venkatesh. Thank you very much. It is my privilege to be here on this forum to discuss my story. So before I start my story, I would like to share a little bit of background about me. I have passed MBA marketing from IMS Indore in the year 1998. Prior to that, I used to work with a couple of sales companies. Like I worked with a traveling agency, I worked with a timeshare unit selling company, and I did BSc from St. David's College, Ahmedabad. BSc I finished in 93, 98 I finished my MBA, and I joined a media company. So I'm sharing all this because you can see that by the time I finished my MBA, I actually wasted 5 years from my graduation to my MBA, which started hitting me really hard when eventually I joined advertising company. Sales per se did not was not very, I never enjoyed sales too much, and neither sales enjoyed me too much. So it was not a very cordial relationship. I was asked to leave in my first job. So that had a very bad impact on my psyche as well as sales was concerned. I landed a job in advertising in the year 2000, and I started enjoying the job. But when I used to sit across my colleagues, I found that there was a gap of 6-7 years between us. I was 7 years young, senior to them as far as age was concerned, and my profile was not that senior, so there was a mismatch. And so in 2002, when I went to Mumbai on a sales pitch for Reliance Infocom, I started meeting various recruitment consultants, and I was told them on point blank, they told me that I cannot have a good career move in Mumbai as far as advertising was concerned. So why I shared all this? All my sales experience of failure and my advertising may not going ahead further forced me to look at entrepreneurship as the only option for me to go ahead and mold my career. So 2002 onwards, I seriously started looking at entrepreneurship as an option. Now, there was one more positive thing which happened with me. This was in Phoenix Mill compound, we had our own Trikaya Grey office, head office, and bank opposite our office, there was one and only Big Bazaar. I'm talking about 2002. Since I was on deputation in Mumbai, apart from my colleagues, I did not have any other friends to go out. So whenever I was free in my office, I would go to Big Bazaar. That was, I would say, that first touch with the organized retail which I found there, and that also had a lasting impression. And I was really impressed with the way the product were displayed and the offers were given. So with these two experiences, positive, negative, I returned and I started looking for options of a store. Now, Hearty Mart, we look for various options. We look for Khanpur in Ahmedabad mein. Khanpur 2002, the government had announced riverfront. So Khanpur was a probable area where I found that I felt that if I start store here, because of riverfront, I might get a good mileage there. Navaranpura, because of its Cosmo culture, and Vishala Circle, as you had rightly put in, Vishala Circle was on the banks of Johapura. So it was a new ghetto which was getting developed with a new opportunity. So with this, and real estate cost was also less. So it made sense to go into Vishala Circle rather than going to Khanpur and Navaranpura, which was a costly affair. And I wanted to invest in the real estate then as my project, in my first project, because then cost was, real estate was growing. I thought that I might get good valuation later on for my real estate shops as well. So with this idea, 2003 we did the research. 2004 we came up with our first store in Johapura on 11th Feb. Every business has its own effect of the environment. So macro environment has effect on your micro environment as well. So Johapura had lots of negativity attached then. It was a 2004, a fresh area post riots. So in order to fight that negativity, whatever learning I had during my advertising days of emotional branding and all these ideas, I put it in my business, and we came up with Hearty Mart as a name. There was a very enthusiastic lady who had approached my store early in the earlier days. She thought that this is a card shop. So I said, no, we don't sell card, but whatever we sell this. So that is how we tried creating bonds with our customers there. सबसे खास घर के पास positioning is also again an interesting thing. In retail, there are only two selling propositions. Either you talk on price or you talk on convenience. Now, when I started in 2004, I never expected, there was no such vision that I will go into a franchising model or I would expand that way. I wanted to start a shop first. That was my first thought. So every retail outlet is talking about pricing. I thought if I talk about price and if I can't live up to my expectations, my brand salience might go down. So I never took a price plank. I spoke and I talked about convenience, and that is why सबसे खास घर के पास tagline was coined. So 2004, 11th Feb, we started the first store in Johapur. After that, after 8 months, I felt that okay. And one more thing, I was not drawing anything from my business because my business was just starting, and I had left a lucrative job of an advertising agency. So there was lots and lots of issues about my personal sustenance. I somehow managed for 8 months. Then, when I felt that team is set, team is ready to take the store ahead, I joined a media company again. Worked there for 1.5 years. I then joined the advertising agency and worked there again for 1 year. 2006, I started I got this realization that if I don't spend time on my business might go down really bad. Just because it was even after 2 years, we were barely managing the show with some. So there was no profit actually, and we were into small losses. So I had to then decide on leaving my career jobs. For, I mean, I wanted to do away with my job for once and focus on my business. And without a pay, the sustenance was also again an issue. So I had I tried tapping 3 institutes for taking 5 sessions per week, and I used to get 500 to 1,000 rupees per session. So I tried working on say 5,000 rupees per week. For a month, it went to 20,000 rupees. So that uh, gave me some sustenance to survive. The other thing, what I did was I approached small time advertising agencies, and I said that for your clients, I can work out content for their brochures, catalog, and even website. So I started working on them. That was the second thing which I did. So I became a visiting faculty, and I also became a content writer for a few small time agencies. Thirdly, I had received some PF, and I had some savings which I loaned it to a friend of mine, and I told him that you pay me 20K per month. It was around 2 lakhs, and for 10 months I secured my sustenance. So basically, what I'm trying to say that after returning from my jobs, I for 10 to 12 months I secured my monthly sustenance so that I don't have to worry more about my sustenance and I can focus on my business. And 2007, we came up with the first franchisee in Ilol. So that is how our first franchisee came into this. Again, franchisee is a very interesting thing. How I came up with this idea. So when I was visiting various B schools, I also went to MICA, and a professor friend there at MICA suggested a franchisee idea. And by the time I returned from MICA to my store, which is a drive of 20 minutes, I decided that I might convince a store manager at Hartimart Juapura who used to work as a teacher, and he was a part-time store manager, and he was from Ilol. I said if he can convince a couple of people in Ilol, we might start a franchise. There is a community called Chidia Muslim community in Gujarat. So we have a spiritual social connect with them. I belong to that family of spiritual head. So I tried milking this trust and relationship with them to bring them on board because they have the domain expertise. They are farmers in villages and they are hoteliers in towns and cities. So they have two extreme things, and they both these extremes are connected with food grocery. So that way, food grocery may their domain expertise is really good. So I thought that if I bring them on board with me, I might get a domain expertise. And with my idea and my exposure of white collar jobs, advertising, branding, we can create a business model which is very unique and which is very different. So they also, so in their village, I started a franchisee and I brought them on board for my purchase of products, raw materials and products from the market. So that is how it started. Then how we went to hotel supply. Again, between these two extremes, so 2007 we realized that we don't. Still, we are struggling. Now there are two stores which I have to manage. One a franchisee, one a Johapura store. Johapura store it was still not into profits, so franchisee income profit was a doubtful case. Now, there was a strong need for us to have economies of scale in purchase. So for two stores, it was not possible. अगर जोहापुरा के एक स्टोर के लिए और इलोर के छोटे स्टोर के लिए, if I purchase say bulk rice, so I might not get economies of scale. I might not get that scale of purchase right? So hotels was the only thing where we thought that if we try to convince these hoteliers that we will be purchasing on your behalf with the vendors, we can have the economies of scale. So we floated a company called Hartimart Enterprise Private Limited in the year 2008 after merging with Wazir Ali, which you had mentioned. So Wazir Ali he was brought on board as a managing director of Hartimart Enterprise, and 2008 we entered into Horeca segment, which is hotel, restaurants, and cafe supplies. And there we got access to bulk purchase, and that started giving profits, discounts to my franchisee. Now franchisee ko I could provide merchandise, products, groceries at a economical cost because of my access to bulk economies of scale of purchase for hotels. So that is how a value chain was created. So with the community hotels as a market, we started purchasing for the hotels and we started providing benefits to our franchises, which was again owned by community most of the time. So this value chain was created, and we had another vertical called Hartimart Enterprise Private Limited. So now, as on date, there are two verticals. If I have to sum up the model, there are two verticals. Hartimart Supermarket, we lease out and create Hartimart stores. We lease out entire retail ecosystem, supermarket ecosystem to them. We train, nurture a village entrepreneur, and we create a store for him. So as on date, there are 16 such stores across Gujarat. So that is one vertical. Another vertical means we are Horeca suppliers. So Horeca is hotel, restaurants, and cafe supplies. So we supplies food, groceries, spices, and other products close to 1,000 plus restaurants across Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Rajasthan. Now this was our captive market. So we started creating micro enterprises in this market. So where two entrepreneurs were funded by us. So we used to give them seed funding, and they used to create their own pool of partners. And we would so Hartimart Enterprise virtually worked as an incubation and a funding center. We are more like an incubation where we nurture the for Horeca we nurture an enterprise, a small micro enterprise. So we are into manufacturing of paper napkin under Hartimart Packaging. We are into bakery under Hartimart Baker's Point. We are into hospitality service where we provide room kits, room kits in hotels. This is the third venture. We are into farm to market, which is the fourth venture. Uh, we are into retail where we are stockist for Cadbury's, Nestle's, and other products, which is the fifth venture. We are into tea, which is a sixth venture. So Hartimart Tea Packers is one of our company. So a total 9 companies. They are run by micro entrepreneurs. They are being nurtured, trained by us, and mentored by us. So that is one another vertical. So 22 entrepreneurs, 19. I'm sorry, 9 companies. So 18 entrepreneurs here, micro entrepreneurs, and 16 franchisee entrepreneurs. So you can say that virtually we create entrepreneurs in our company and we grow along with them. So that is the model.
So great, Nadeem. 16 franchisee models, 9 verticals. So did you had this inclination when you started this business, or it happened naturally?
No, it all happened, or people started approaching us with some kind of ideas, and we started nudging them. For an example, of when we just had formalized our association with Wazir Bhai for Ashish Enterprise and renaming it to Hartimart Enterprise, we came in touch with a village entrepreneur who hailed from the same village of Wazir Bhai, and he came up with a paper napkin in his pocket and he said this to Wazir Ali that I would like to do something in this line. So Wazir Bhai nurtured him. We gave him all the insights, whatever we had learned as far as business company formation, and we branded his company as Hartimart Packaging. and then they developed paper napkin, aluminum foil, and your dishes and spoons and all. So that is a packaging company which is called Celesta. It is a Celesta brand packaging, Hardiman packaging. So they approach us with some idea, and then we formalize. Same way Baker's Point happened. Baker's Point made from Mumbai, a community person along with his brother had come. He wanted to start a bakery outlet where he said that I would be selling branded bakery products like say Monjini's bakery or any other bakery. So we said that if you want to enter into a bakery product, if you're open to get associated with us, why not we come up with Hearty Bakery? And they like the idea. So these brothers they run bakery on their own, but they run under our guidance. We have taken a seed fund. We are nurturing it. We have come up with cafes in a rural setup. There is a Baker's Cafe in Sipur. There is Baker's Cafe in Ahmedabad also, and we have a bakery outlet. More than 10 bakery outlets are running across Gujarat, and we have our own bakery product. So that is again it happened that way. So Horeca related to कोई भी product में we normally we create a company if we feel for an example atta. So we are owner of Khamir Atta. Khamir is our brand, and today Khamir is competing with Ashirwad Atta in our store because the product quality is really. We have not scaled up as far as distribution is concerned, but all our stores, 16 stores, they sell Khamir Atta, and Khamir Atta in all the 16 stores is sold more than Ashirwad or Amul Atta. So that is the product quality which we maintain. The interesting thing of Khamir is I always say that Khamir Atta ka story is similar to your iPhone. There is there is channel of integration. We have a company called Hartimart Farm to Market. Hartimart Farm to Market in Himmatnagar is in touch with 1,000 plus farmers. So gehu is purchased from them. This gehu it comes to my store, I mean my factory at Dholka, which is Hartimat Atta Traders. We process gehu and create an atta, which is a Khamir atta. The brand is called Khamir. This atta then goes to Hartimat Baker's Point, and from this atta we create breads, we create buns, we create cookies wherever atta is used. So right from gehu से लेके आटा at Hartimat Baker's Point, the entire channel is under through our focus, right? So it is so that's why I say it's like an iPhone. We have our own iOS and we have our own instrument. So Khamir Atta is that way is a classic case study. So very interesting thing, and it's a very good product during pandemic when our inward supply chain was hampered, and we were not getting atta from anywhere. We pushed Khamir Atta in our stores, and it became a success.
So we can see another Steve Jobs moving away from an Apple to basically groceries. We
He's my idol. He's my icon. So
wow,
I would
great.
like to know what he did actually.
Okay, so I believe you would have given a lot of interviews. You would have been speaking to a lot of people. So one common thing which I wanted to just check with you is 2004 is what when you started this. So how long did it take for you to break even?
It took us 5 years actually. See, we were not into losses to be honest, but we were not into profits at all. So why I'm saying we were not into losses? It was not. They were not so huge loss that we would be thinking of closing down. But we for 5 years we did not give a single penny to our partners. Neither we earned anything out of it. So 2009 was a turnaround time when our association with Wazir Bhai and Hatimat Enterprise formalized in 2008. उसके बाद के साथ 2009 March onwards we got our profits.
That's a great insight for today's entrepreneurs or people who want to establish themselves as an entrepreneur, that you really need to strive for n number of years before you actually see the first money in your pocket. So 5 years is not a small thing, and people definitely leave in after a year or two saying that, okay, I am not doing success, I am not meeting what I want, and people leave it in midway. So it's a great thing that you took 5 years to break even. So this insight would be useful for a lot of people to understand that any business is a long-term building where you lay the foundation and then the fruits can come later. So that's a great
Right.
insight. So one thing in this also I would like to ask you is, how was your family support during these 5 years? Because particularly when you have not taken any money from the business, so how was been your support from your wife, your family, and how did they say in this? Because generally when people who are working or people who belong to this salaried class, they are habituated to get the salary on the first of each month, and when you don't get money for 5 years. So how has been your wife? So I know your wife would have been the most busiest person all these years, and she would be the source of strength also for you. So just want to
Sure.
understand that from you.
No, family, I had lots and lots of family support. First thing, I always ensured that I give some money to them, because I was the only one who was a source of income for the family. So my wife was not working. No, so that's why I said that for 12 months, 2006 onwards, when I returned back for 10 to 12 months, I ensured that I give them some money at hand. After that, there was judicious, approach by my wife also to work at a stringent budget, but to ensure that I'm not being disturbed when I'm working, and so that I can focus on business and try to strive and work out uh, and bring it into positive side of the balance sheet. So as far as my kids was concerned and my wife was concerned, my wife took care of my family along with my mom and my kids. And it was because of her support only that I could do this. Otherwise, was very difficult. On my part, I ensured that I give her that much amount on hand, which is around 60 to 70% of what I was earning in the past. So all my lecturing and my writing websites and all did bring in some amount which helped her in sustenance. So, for and this is for any entrepreneur. Without family support, without support of your friend, family, and people who look up to you, you can't do much. Because if your close people are not trusting your instinct, because when I started my store in Joapura, everybody laughed at me. Everybody mocked at me, saying that you are starting a store in an area where people don't know how to purchase, and and you might have to close down. Even suppliers used to tell us that आपका store 6 महीने से ज़्यादा नहीं चलेगा. So that was the time where I had to fight these demons in my memory, in my mind. I had to fight them, and without family support, it is not possible.
So moving from your family, how did you keep yourself motivated? Because again, when you are actually used to get some money and then when the money comes down, okay, the passion is something different, money is something different. So how did you keep yourself motivated, and how did you motivate your stakeholders also? People who are with you, people who have joined you, the employees, the people who trusted you and they came with you. So, and why do you think they trusted you?
So I will try to divide this into three parts. First, if stakeholders may employees, let us take as employees. So I had ensured that when I was not drawing any profit से employees का इतना concern नहीं होता, because they are happy with this salary which they get, और उसमें there is no cut. So I ensure that I don't cut their salary. I motivate them saying that अब नहीं, next year हो जाएगा. In 2008, after 4 years, the person who used to run my shop, he was literally in tears when he found out that we are not in the positive side of the balance sheet, and he started crying. So I really felt bad, and what we did, we thought that we will have to remove this gloom from the store. So we painted the store. We we came up with a new branding ideas in our store. We gave a red color ka theme. and we refurbish the store. थोड़ा सा पैसा और डाल के, थोड़ा सा लॉस में और इंक्रीमेंटल लॉस करके we created store का नया look. And the advantage of this so shop floor पे जो भी था, all my counter sales people, they really got motivated because the customers started appreciating the store, and they would say with new look store is looking really good. So 2008 May I tried removing this gloom by refurbishing the store after 4 years. वैसे भी store wanted a refurbishment, which we did in 2008 after the losses. Right, so this I did. So employees' salaries were not cut, and we refurbished the store. So we kept them motivated that way, and we said we are not going to close down. We are going to work again. Next year should be better. As far as my stakeholders are concerned, partners are concerned, I told them that I have already invested in the real estate, and real estate has gone up. If you see 2004, and if you see the 2008 real estate market, it has gone really up. So even if we suppose, for an example, if we don't do well, and tomorrow if I want to close down the shop, I'll get all your return. I can pay you everything, whatever you invested, and plus incremental money also. So their money was secured, and that is how I build a trust with them. As far as myself was concerned, I thought that I was a pathetic salesman kicked out from the first job. I couldn't got my confirmation in Dainik Bhaskar. Let me just name the media house also. So advertising me, I was a Buddha as considered in Mumbai. So what is option left for me? So for 6 years, when I was teaching and interacting with students, I realized that I was really good in motivating them and nurturing them. I thought that I might pursue PhD, and perhaps I joined some institute or a university or college as a professor of marketing or entrepreneurship. So that was my, in case if things don't work out, I might do this. So I might do this gave me lots of solace, because then I realized कि कुछ भी नहीं होगा तो I have one more thing to fall back. Right? I'm a non-PhD even today, so I never pursued PhD. But I'm trying to say that I realized that if I अगर ये नहीं हो सकेगा तो मैं ये कर सकता हूँ. That thought really helped me. That kept on motivating me. Okay, nothing is lost as far as I am concerned. So I kept myself motivated by this. So all these three things we worked on till 2009.
So, do you mean to say today there is a debate to say whether you require plan B, plan C if plan A fails? Okay.
Right.
So, did you have plan B, plan C when you started this, or you went ahead with that confidence? No, I will succeed in plan A. There is no need for me to have a plan B and plan C.
No plan C. Honestly, plan B, plan C, you shouldn't work on plan B and plan C, because otherwise you will not focus on plan A. Right? So you should work on plan A, give your wholehearted approach, really work really hard on plan A. But tomorrow, if nothing works out, what you would do, you should have at least one window. I'm not saying you come up with a plan. I never came up with the plan which university to join. नहीं तो मेरा पूरा एफर्ट यूनिवर्सिटी ढूंढने में चले जाता, पूरा एफर्ट मेरा कोर्स ढूंढने में जाता, मैं इन विच पीएचडी में किसमें परस्यू करूंगा. राइट? सो आई नेवर वर्क, बट आई रियलाइज माय स्ट्रेंथ. सो द बेस्ट थिंग इज यू फर्स्ट आइडेंटिफाई योर स्ट्रेंथ. My strength was a mentoring, nurturing, and I worked on this. I have not become a professor, but I am doing the same thing at my business premises now. I am not doing anything operationally. I am nurturing my staff. I am continuously motivating them, and I am mentoring them. So the same thing I am doing it here. So I worked on my strength. So what I am trying to say is that every entrepreneur should know uska strength kya hai, and that strength should get translated into business. And if it is not getting translated into business, he is into wrong business. Number one. So I realized that I cannot go in the wholesale market and purchase. So I never took that role in my business. Right? So plan B, plan C is not advisable, but business, every business doesn't succeed. So if you are an entrepreneur, if A is not succeeding, then try to do B, then try to do C, then try to do D. But enter entrepreneurship only if you are really convinced that you want to be an entrepreneur. You cannot be a half-hearted entrepreneur. That doesn't work that way.
So today, when everybody is talking about work-life balance, okay, so just wanted to understand from you, did becoming an entrepreneur affected your family life at any point of time?
Not much because see, when my idea of entrepreneurship was very different. I never wanted to be an employee of my startup. So most of the entrepreneurs uh, take it in a very different way. Because I had worked in a setup, in a corporate setup, I was sure I understood the importance of operations management. And I knew that if I enter into operations of my business, I can never scale my business. I would stuck in operations for many, many more years. So what I did was I became like a switchboard. I There was a plug-in. I would bring the right plug. I would plug in and I would switch on, and that particular thing would started working. So every department I bring the right person when I appointed a managing director. So my managing director hails from a village called Sathal, right, where the youth of that circle is involved now in my setup. So I brought him, and I nurtured him, and then he brought in more and more people. And wherever our company started growing, we had a right person there. So operationally, I was never involved. So I was relatively very free. Though I used to front the meetings, I used to meet them, but beyond that, I never entered into operations. Right. So entrepreneurship, it is very essential to understand that. Take an example: you are working in an FMCG company. Say you are working in an Hindustan Unilever as a CEO. For an example, you are drawing, say maybe perhaps you are drawing 3 crore per annum. Now you are starting your own FMCG firm, something maybe cosmetic company similar to Hindustan Unilever, and you want to work again as a CEO in your company at say 10 lakhs per annum. So you will never be motivated because you will feel that you have reduced your market and you have gone down. That is not the way entrepreneurship should be done. You create an enterprise and you bring in right person to run the enterprise, and you do the macro level thinking and work at a very macro, large scale macro level rather than working as an operational CEO there. So I never did that. So my family work balance was much better than when I was in jobs.
Great to hear that, because today when people say 24 hours is less for me as an entrepreneur, so it's great to hear that you actually could balance it very well and you could spend more time with them. So one interesting thing which I want to ask you is you have been working with rural India for long. Okay, and rural India is in fact the heartland of the country, of our country basically. And also your employees are more rural based because all your 16 franchisees that you have, except for the Ahmedabad ones, are all based in rural. Okay, so how does working and in urban and working in rural differ? Okay, and how have you been able to do innovations in this? And how have you been able to get work from rural people?
Yeah. So rural people, okay, my experience with, unlike urban, if I talk about rural people, I found them really hardworking, number one, more open to ideas because they have an aspiration to be like their urban counterpart. So they are very open to ideas. And thirdly, rural may I have realized that they because we are urban people, because culturally we are very different, they uh, will more uh, you know identify with someone who's more rural. So when our managing director Wazir Bhai came on board with us, and when he started, uh, so he basically from Gujarat again, and he has not graduated also. But today, when you talk to him, he'll be talking about brands, and he's quite well versed. So he got nurtured because he had that aspiration. He wanted to be like his urban counterpart, and because of his influence, more and more people from his village started coming and joining my company. Had I not taken him in, I wouldn't have been able to scale up at this large. So I realized that they have aspiration and they are more hardworking. Number two. Number three, all these they come from a village called Sathar, and for them the only source of income pre Hatimat time, when Hatimat was not there, was Dholka GIDC. Sathal say 4 kilometers away, there is Dholka GIDC. So they would look for a factory there and they would go and work there, maybe as supervisor or maybe as daily wager. And today they are working with us, Hatimat, and Hatimat itself has a factory in Dholka GIDC. So virtually they own a factory there. These employees, they are managers, senior manager in this setup. And because of nurturing right people and coming up with this idea.
So as an entrepreneur, actually, you are ticking up all the boxes which is required for becoming an entrepreneur. So you are actually giving jobs to people, you are employing large number of people from rural India, as well as you are making them self-sufficient. So this is true case of an entrepreneur who actually is not creating wealth for himself, but he is trying to create wealth for others also. So in that way, I believe you are doing a fantastic job, Nadeem. And over the last 17 years now, have you got any proposals from investors? If yes, what was it? If no, why do you think you would not have received it?
We were featured in CNBC Young Turks in 2013. So after that capsule was aired by CNBC, we did start. We received quite some VCs were calling us for to understand the business model, and they were keen on investment in Hatimat. But we were not so keen. The first reason was we are more a franchisee based setup where we don't need that much fund to grow. We do the seed funding on our own, and we have people who invest in at a small scale, and we tried growing together. So I did not find any value in taking third party investment there. Secondly, I had realized that VCs have their own vision. Once they invest, they have their own ideas. So I also felt that it might not be in sync with what we are doing, because we were enjoying the pace at which we were growing. We were managing the pace really well, and we did not want to go whole hog as well. So that was the second thing which did not allow us to take the investment. Thirdly, we are unlike people. People feel that Hatimat is a retail supermarket company. Actually, it is not a retail supermarket company. To be honest, you know the business model now. Hatimat provides ecosystem to create a supermarket. Otherwise, Hatimat is a franchisee-based model. So, which is the main company then? So, our main company is actually, we are a producer of spices. We have our own brand of Good Time spices, and we have Chef Ki Pasand for hotel supply. So, we are basically a spices manufacturing company, and we want to expand through this. We want to create all India network by expanding a distribution network across pan India through our product range. So that is our growth, and that is where we might take future. We might take investment if at all we get some opportunity, or we might come with an IPO to beef up our factory, which is ISO certified factory. We do have an export license as well. So basically, we are more into a retail product manufacturing company. We are not a retail supermarket company. And so up till now, Hatimat has been featured as a retail supermarket company because that is where we create lots and lots of entrepreneurs. But if you talk about Hatimat ka core business, so we are more into retail product manufacturing.
So you mean to say that decision of not taking investment has more rational rather than emotional. So the
Yeah.
decision was more rational.
More rational, right?
Great, Adip. So just tell me, where does idea come from? How do you actually generate new ideas?
So now we have our own leadership meets which happen every Friday, where all the heads of the department, along with the CEO of the company, MD of the company, and mentor, we all sit together. We all mull on various issues, and we might come up with an idea. That is one way of generating an idea through discussions. Second is generated through is an idea box. So we have created an idea box, which is like a piggy bank, where we had realized that frontline salesmen or frontline people might have a very good, wonderful idea, but they don't have access to the top management in our setup. We have an employee base of close to 140 plus. So it was very difficult for them to come to us directly, or they might not have that kind of confidence where they can share their idea with us. So anonymously as well, they can write their idea and put it in an idea box. So every Friday we open the idea box and we try to find out. And if we feel that some idea really needs our focus, so we work on that idea and we focus on that idea, and we take that idea further. So there is an interesting idea which was generated when our dispatch team said that our point of difference, apart from product quality and price, the third point of difference in a Horeca supplies should be our turnaround time. So suppose a restaurant or a hotel is placing an order. So normally a Horeca supplier will take 24 hours to supply. So why not we reduce it to 6 hours? Say? If we reduce it to 6 hours, we will be seen as a very different player than the other players already in the market. And this is a pain point because restaurant in the morning, if restaurant gets a booking of his banquet in the evening, and there's a party of say 500 people, and they don't have the grocery there, they might need. So there are kind of a supplier who promises them turnaround time can scale up. So this idea was generated through such meetings, and we started working on that.
So we all fail. Only a few can come out of it, actually. Okay. You also said you didn't have plan B, you didn't have plan C, you went for plan A. So anytime did you think about failure when you started it?
I started it with the idea of failure only, to be honest, and that is why we invested in the real estate from day one. Because I felt that real estate cost is going up. So tomorrow, if after 2 to 3 years, because when I started, see, there were two things I had to think on failure. First, I was entering Juapura. Secondly, during all the retail chains were collapsing when I was growing as a franchisee. So we had Subiksha retail chain which did not survive. There was more which did not survive. So there were cases where we found that organized retail chain is not surviving, and this was the time when we entered into business. So we had to think on failure. So failure was always in my mind when I started, right? So we invested in the real estate, and because real estate was today real estate is at a saturated stage. So today it might not help if you invest in a real estate cost and start a supermarket, because even after 5 years the it is not going to there will not be incremental value to your real estate shops. But during that time it was. So that way I secured the investment with the failure as a thought.
Uh, so as on today, if I ask you, what is your greatest fear and how do you manage that?
The greatest fear which I had, I don't have any fear as of now. Frankly speaking, but yes, last year we had the greatest fear during the lockdown thing, when hotels and cafes were closed down for a long time, and it was very difficult to sustain our staff. So we had to, and we are into daily essentials. So our business was always open, even if our market was closed. So our staff used to come, and we were in a very, very bad situation, and we were not sure. Plus, Horeca as a business is on credit. You have to supply food grocery to hotels at a credit period. So when close down happened, our money was stuck with those hotels, and we were not sure that they are going to open after the close down, after the lockdown. Sorry. So that was the fear. That I went nearest to that fear. I mean, I felt that अब ये बंद हो गया. So I started looking at my age, and I started thinking, okay, now I cannot create a new hardware at this age. Right? So that was the closest I had seen the fear from my close eye. But see, as a CEO, you can't afford to be down. If you talk about two leaders which India produced, so we had a great leader called Saurabh Ganguly also, who instilled fighting spirit in the Indian team. But at the hour of crisis, you saw him really nervous with biting his nails. And then we had NS Dhoni, who was called Captain Cool. So people look at the captain always. So if captain is panicky, the entire team will go down. So we had to, the top management we had to have a smiling face, and we had to think of new ideas. And believe me, Venkatesh, we came up with the idea of ration kits, and we started approaching NGOs, and we started approaching retail stores when hotels were closed down. So ration kit really helped us to survive last year, because we got in touch with lots of. It never gave us the kind of profit we used to earn, and nobody was expecting any profit last year. We just wanted to survive, and we wanted to maintain our employee base without laying anyone off, and we could. So ration kit ka, and today also we just delivered ration kits. So I had my FB post on ration kit, which we created 2 days back. So that is the new vertical which we got post pandemic.
So it is rightly said, adversities bring opportunities. So as an individual, do you have any ideals? What are your ideals when it comes to entrepreneurship?
I feel that your enterprise should reflect your personality. It is your alter ego. So if you are honest person, if you are a friendly person, if you are a compassionate person, which all my friends say, even Dr. Venkatesh says this. So if you are such a good friend, your business should reflect that. That is the ideology I follow at my business. My business should be fair. My business should have compassion. It is not. It shouldn't be always driven by profits, and it should be. It should, and if I want to quote again Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs used to say that it is the good product which will give you profits. You cannot earn profit by selling a substandard product. So even I want to come up with good, healthy, good quality products, and then earn my profit. As an entrepreneur, profit should be your focus, and that's how I work. So that is my ideology.
Are there any ambitions to grow outside of Gujarat, despite you have the hotel supplies in Maharashtra and Rajasthan? So what is your next plan?
So next plan, in fact, not outside Gujarat, but we want to go outside India also. So we are trying to create a range of products which we want to market to US, Canada, UK markets where Indian footfall is there. We want to be seen as a good Indian spice manufacturing company for NRIs across the globe. Number one. Number two, we want to also tap as I said, our franchising model might remain within Gujarat, where we don't have any focus to go beyond that, unless there is some opportunity and we might feel so. So, but that will not be our approach. Our approach would be to create a range of products under Good Time brand, and market it across India with creating sales managers across states and creating a network of distributors, retailers.
So we wish that you actually go global and all the best for the future prospects. So one thing before we finally wind up is any message that you would like to give to the new current breed of people who today we call it as startups. So any message that you want to give for them?
If you want to enter an entrepreneurship, you should first try to find out whether you are patient enough to wait, you have a passion to pursue, you are persistent enough to continue, and you should be people's man. If you can work on four P's with people, not a self-centered person, a people's person, passionate, patient, and persistent. So if you have all these qualities within you, you are cut out for entrepreneurship. If you don't have these qualities, please never pursue entrepreneurship because then you might not scale up or you might not go. I'm not saying you will never do that, but it will be a very difficult path. In the process, eventually you will have to imbibe all these qualities to grow.
So one thing which I would like to differ from what you said is that sales and you don't go along well each other. That is what you started. But in every walk of life, you have tried to sell something, be it selling yourself, be it selling your product, be it selling your image, be it telling about your corporate, and it has actually worked for you. So being a proponent of sales, I would never ever agree with you saying that you and sales never went along, but actually without your knowledge, actually, you have been in sales, you are doing sales, and you will continue doing that. And if you feel that you are not succeeded, then I believe that I should also become a salesperson like you, who actually would feel that I am not successful, but you are indeed successful. So thank you, Nadeem, for sparing your time. I really value, and as I said, we have been knowing each other for long, but it's the first time that we have discussed so much in detail about your business. Great insights, and I would like to congratulate you for giving opportunities for so many people who can actually earn from your ideas, who can actually become self-employed from your ideas. And this is going to be the lifeline for a lot of businesses. Thank you once again, Nadeem. Thank you very, very, very much.